Maya Collins stared at the enormous metal doors of the alien embassy. She clutched her small bag of personal items closer to her chest as she waited. The past few weeks had been a blur. One day she was teaching linguistics at a community college. In Phoenix the next, she was selected for this special mission. The United Earth government had been desperate to find someone who could understand the strange clicking language of the Valaxians. Maya had spent years studying pattern recognition. In unknown languages, her research had caught the attention of government officials after first contact. Now she stood at the threshold of a journey that would take her far from Earth. The doors slid open with a soft hiss. A human official greeted her with a tight smile. "Miss Collins, they are ready for you," he said. "Remember everything we discussed? The Valaxians are extremely sensitive about their customs." Maya nodded. She had memorized the briefing packets. The Valaxians were a warrior species. From a distant star system, they had a strict hierarchical society where females held all positions of power. Males of their species were considered property. This cultural difference had already caused several diplomatic incidents. She followed the official through a series of corridors. The architecture was strange, with curved walls that seemed to glow from within. The air smelled faintly metallic. Finally, they reached a large chamber where 3 Valaxians waited. Maya had seen pictures, but nothing prepared her for meeting them in person. The Valaxians towered over humans, their blue-scaled skin shimmering under the lights. The largest one stepped forward. She was nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 eyes that blinked in an unsettling pattern. Her scales had intricate patterns that Maya guessed indicated high rank. "This is Commander Zalara," the official said. "She will be your primary contact aboard the ship." Zalara studied Maya with all 4 eyes. "You are smaller than expected," she said, in heavily accented English. Her voice had an unusual harmonic quality, like 2 people speaking at once. Maya bowed slightly as she had been instructed. "I am honored to serve as translator commander." Zalara made a clicking sound that Maya recognized as something between amusement and approval. "Your understanding of our language is impressive for a human. You will help prevent misunderstandings between our peoples." The journey to the Valaxian ship took 3 days in a small shuttle. Maya spent the time studying more about their culture. The Valaxians had made contact with Earth just 18 months ago. Their technology was advanced but not dramatically beyond human capabilities. What made them fascinating was their biology and social structure. According to the briefing, females were not only larger and stronger but also had higher cognitive abilities. Males were smaller with simpler brain structures. They were kept as assistants, decorative companions, and sometimes warriors under female command. Human diplomats found this arrangement disturbing, but the Valaxians were equally confused by human gender equality. The shuttle docked with the massive Valaxian cruiser. Maya gasped as she looked out the viewport. The ship was enormous, with a design unlike any human vessel. It resembled a giant sea creature with smooth curves and glowing sections along its hull. Commander Zalara met her at the docking bay. "You will have time to settle before your duties begin," she said. "A male has been assigned to attend to your needs." Maya was led to her quarters. The room was larger than she expected and had been modified with human furnishings. A bed, a desk, and a private bathroom had been installed. The walls glowed with soft purple. Light, a chime indicated someone at her door. When Maya opened it, she found a male Valaxian standing outside. He was shorter than Zalara but still taller than Maya. His scales were pale green with delicate patterns. He kept his eyes downcast. "I am Tharo," he said quietly. "I have been assigned to assist you during your stay." "Thank you, Tharo," Maya replied. She noticed an ornate collar around his neck, indicating he was the personal property of someone important. "Please come in." Tharo hesitated at the threshold. "You speak to me directly," he observed. "Most human diplomats avoid addressing males." Maya realized she had already made a cultural mistake. "I apologize if I have offended." "There is no offense," Tharo said, entering the room. "I belong to Commander Zalara. She has instructed me to answer your questions about our ways." Over the next few days, Maya learned more about Valaxian society through Thero. He explained that in their evolutionary history, males had once been violent and destructive. Females had evolved greater size, intelligence, and strength as a response. Over thousands of years, their society had stabilized with females in control. "We are not unhappy," Thero explained when Maya asked about male rights. "It is our way for countless generations. We have purpose and protection." Maya tried to understand. On Earth, such arrangements would be considered oppressive, but she reminded herself not to judge an alien culture by human standards. Her official duties began on the fourth day. A delegation from Earth was arriving to negotiate trade agreements. Maya would serve as cultural interpreter to prevent misunderstandings. She stood beside Commander Zalara in the grand meeting chamber. The Earth delegation consisted of 5 people, led by a woman named Samantha Ford. Maya felt relief seeing a female diplomat. The Valaxians respected women more readily than men. The initial greetings went well. Maya carefully translated the formal Valaxian welcomes, but tension arose when one of the Valaxian warriors grabbed Samantha's arm to guide her to a specific seat. "Tell them humans do not appreciate being touched without permission," Samantha whispered to Maya. Her face remained composed, but Maya could see her discomfort. Maya translated, explaining that humans considered unauthorized physical contact offensive. Commander Zalara seemed genuinely confused. "But she is female. She has authority. We show respect by guiding her to the place of honor," Zalara said. "In human culture, all people have authority over their own bodies regardless of gender," Maya explained. This led to a lengthy discussion about bodily autonomy. The Valaxians struggled to understand why humans would object to what they saw as proper protocol. Maya found herself explaining basic human rights concepts to beings with a completely different understanding of personhood. By the end of the day, Maya was exhausted. Cultural translation was more challenging than language translation. She returned to her quarters to find Thero waiting with food. "You did well today," he said, setting down a tray. "The commander was impressed by your explanations. I feel like I'm walking through a minefield," Maya admitted. "Our cultures are so different, yet we seek understanding." Thero replied, "That is a beginning." Over the following weeks, Maya noticed subtle changes in how the Valaxians interacted with the human delegation. They became more careful about physical contact. Meanwhile, the humans made efforts to respect Valaxian hierarchy. Commander Zalara summoned Maya to her private chambers after a particularly successful negotiation. The commander's quarters were vast, with strange artwork and glowing crystals decorating the walls. "You have served well." Translator Collins. Zalara said, "Your understanding of both our ways has prevented many problems." "Thank you, Commander." Maya replied, "I am learning more every day." "Your species puzzles me," Zalara continued. "You claim males and females are equal, yet your history shows otherwise. We aspire to equality even when we fail to achieve it." Maya explained, "We believe all people have inherent worth regardless of gender." "And what of Thero?" "I see how you speak with him. You treat him as equal." Maya was surprised by the observation. "On Earth, we would say all sentient beings deserve respect." Zalara moved closer, her tall form casting a shadow. "This is why I requested you specifically. Your reputation for treating all beings with dignity intrigued me." "You knew about that?" "We study humans as carefully as you study us," Zalara said. "Your different perspective may have value." When Maya returned to her quarters that night, she recorded her observations. She was beginning to understand something important. The Valaxians had not brought her aboard just to help humans understand Valaxian ways. They were equally interested in understanding humanity. She wondered what changes might come from this cultural exchange, and for the first time since arriving, she felt hopeful about the future of relations between their species. 2 months passed aboard the Valaxian ship. Maya had settled into a routine. Each morning she attended briefings with Commander Zalara. During the day she assisted with diplomatic communications. In the evenings she often spent time with Thero learning. more about Valaxian culture. The more Maya learned, the more complex she realized their society was. What had initially seemed like simple oppression of males was actually an intricate social system with its own internal logic. Males were protected and valued in their own way. Even if they lacked the freedoms humans considered essential, today was different. The Valaxian High Council had sent word they would be arriving for inspection. Everyone aboard the ship was preparing. Even Commander Zalara seemed tense. The High Council rarely leaves our homeworld, Tharo explained as he helped Maya select appropriate clothing for the meeting. Their coming here shows how important the human alliance has become. Maya chose a simple blue dress that resembled Valaxian formal wear while remaining human in style. "Will you be present at the meeting?" she asked Tharo. He shook his head. Males are not permitted in council meetings unless specifically commanded to attend. He hesitated before adding, "The council is more traditional than Commander Zalara. Be careful in their presence." The warning made Maya nervous. She had grown accustomed to Zalara's relatively flexible interpretation of Valaxian customs. The commander had begun allowing Tharo to speak more freely in meetings, even asking his opinion on matters that traditionally would never involve males. "Your human perspective is changing her," Tharo had told Maya privately. "Some approve, others are concerned." The High Council arrived. In a smaller but more ornate vessel, Maya stood with the other officials in the docking bay as the council members disembarked. There were 5 of them, all female, all with elaborate scale patterns that marked their high status. Their leader, Karina, was even taller than Zalara, with scales that shimmered with an almost metallic quality. The formal greetings proceeded according to protocol. Maya performed her role as translator. Though most council members understood human speech, they were more interested in how humans interpreted Valaxian expressions. After the initial ceremony, Karina requested a private meeting with Commander Zalara and Maya. "Your work as translator has been noted," Karina said to Maya once they were alone. "Reports indicate you have an unusual understanding of our ways for a human." "I am still learning, High Counselor," Maya replied carefully. "Your culture is complex." "Indeed." Karina's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Yet you have influenced changes in protocol aboard this ship." Some might consider this interference. Maya felt a chill. She glanced at Zalara, who stood rigid. "I have only shared information about human customs when asked, High Counselor." "The human speaks truth," Zalara interjected. "Any changes in protocol have been my decision alone." Karina made a clicking sound. "Including allowing your personal mail to participate in diplomatic discussions?" So that was the issue. Maya realized that Zalara's increasingly equal treatment of Tharo had been reported to the council. This could be dangerous for both Zalara and Tharo. The mail provides valuable insight into how humans might perceive our customs. Zalara explained, "It is a tactical advantage, nothing more." Maya held her breath. Would the council accept this explanation? Karna studied Zalara, then Maya. "Interesting, show me this tactical advantage. I wish to observe your methods, Commander." That evening, Maya found Tharo waiting in her quarters. He looked worried. "The council knows about my participation in meetings," he said. "This could end badly." Commander Zalara explained it as a tactical decision. Maya assured him. The council seemed to accept that. Tharo paced the room. "You don't understand. If they believe I have overstepped my place, they could have me sent back for reconditioning." He touched the collar at his neck. Or worse, Maya felt sick. "What is reconditioning?" "A process to remind males of their proper role," Tharo said quietly. "It is not pleasant." "That's horrible." Maya couldn't hide her reaction. How can they justify treating sentient beings that way? "By not considering us fully sentient," Tharo replied simply. "In their view, we are valued property, not equals." The next day, Maya attended a full diplomatic session with the Earth delegation. Commander Zalara had ordered Tharo to be present. Much to the surprise of the other Valaxians, High Counselor Karina observed from a raised platform, her expression unreadable. Samantha Ford led the human delegation. They were discussing technology exchange agreements. A point of contention arose regarding weapon systems. We cannot provide offensive capabilities. Samantha stated firmly, our laws prohibit it. When this was translated, a Valaxian officer named Makara objected strongly. Without weapons, how can we trust your commitment to alliance? She demanded. The discussion grew heated. Maya struggled to maintain the proper diplomatic phrasing as she translated increasingly sharp exchanges. She noticed Tharo standing silently at the edge of the room, watching carefully. During a brief recess, Commander Zalara approached Tharo and spoke quietly. Maya couldn't hear what was said, but Tharo nodded and left the room. When the session resumed, Tharo returned, carrying an ancient Valaxian artifact. It was a metal sphere covered with intricate engravings. He presented it to Commander Zalara, who then addressed the gathering. In our history, this is known as the Sphere of Valaxi. Zalara explained, it records the first alliance between our ancient houses. The alliance succeeded because both sides contributed different strengths. One provided protection, the other provided wisdom. Maya translated, feeling the significance of the moment Zalara was using their own history to make a point about the human alliance. Perhaps our current alliance follows this model. Zalara continued, humans offer technological wisdom in some areas. We offer protection with our fleet. Together we are stronger than either, alone. Makara seemed ready to object again, but High Counselor Karina made a sharp clicking sound, silencing her. The commander makes an interesting comparison. Karina said, tell us, human translator, how would your people view such an arrangement? Maya chose her words carefully. Humans value partnerships where each side contributes their strengths without domination. We would see wisdom and protection as equally important contributions. Karina's eyes fixed on Maya. And does the male who brought the artifact have a perspective worth hearing? The room went silent. This was unprecedented. A high counselor asking for a male's opinion in a formal diplomatic setting. Maya glanced at Zalara, who gave a slight nod. Tharo, would you share your thoughts? Maya asked. All eyes turned to Tharo. He stepped forward hesitantly. If I may speak, he began formally. I have observed both humans and Valaxians closely. Humans treat knowledge and protection as shared responsibilities. Their males and females both learn both skills. This gives them flexibility. We lack. Perhaps there is tactical advantage in considering their approach. His words were carefully framed to appeal to Valaxian military thinking. Maya felt proud of his diplomacy. After the meeting, Commander Zalara and High Counselor Karina walked together, speaking privately. Maya found herself alone with Tharo. That was brave, she told him. Your words made an impact. Or sealed my fate, he replied. But there was a glint in his eyes that Maya hadn't seen before. Something like hope. Later that evening, Maya was summoned to Commander Zalara's chambers. To her surprise, Tharo was already there, standing not behind Zalara as tradition dictated, but beside her. Even more surprising, High Counselor Kerna was present, translator Collins. Kerna addressed her. Your influence on this ship has been more significant than anticipated. Maya prepared herself for criticism. I have tried to serve both our peoples faithfully, High Counselor. Indeed. Kerna moved closer, studying Maya with all four eyes. You have shown us something unexpected. A different way of thinking. The human concept of equality has tactical applications we had not considered. Zalara added. Tharo's contribution today demonstrated this. Maya hardly dared to hope what this might mean. Are you considering changes to Valaxian customs? Kerna made a sound Maya hadn't heard before. It took her a moment to realize it was laughter. Our customs have evolved many times, over our long history. Kerna said, we did not become the dominant power in our sector by remaining rigid. The Council has authorized an experiment, Zalara explained. A small number of males, including Tharo, will be given expanded roles. We will evaluate the results. Maya looked at Tharo, who stood straighter than she had ever seen him. His collar was gone. This is why we sought contact with humans. Karina said, not just for technology or resources, but for new ideas. Your species adapts quickly, ours plans for the long future. As Maya left the meeting, she realized something profound. The Valaxians had not brought her aboard just to learn about humanity. They had brought her to be a catalyst for change in their own society. A change they had already been considering, and perhaps human society would change too as they learned from the Valaxians. Different did not always mean wrong. Sometimes it just meant another path to the same destination. Understanding. News of the Valaxian experiment spread quickly through the ship. Maya noticed the reactions varied widely. Some female officers seemed curious about the changes. Others were clearly uncomfortable. The males showed even more diverse responses. Some, like Thero, embraced their new opportunities. Others appeared frightened by the sudden removal of familiar boundaries. 1 month after the High Council's visit, Maya found herself in an unprecedented position. She had been asked to teach a class on human culture to a mixed group of Valaxian officers. Both males and females would attend. This had never happened before. Are you nervous? Thero asked as he helped Maya prepare the teaching materials. He had been officially designated as her assistant, a position that would have been unthinkable before. A little, Maya admitted. This feels important somehow. Like we're making history. Thero's scales shifted color slightly, showing what Maya had learned was amusement. Humans always think in such dramatic terms. For Valaxians, change happens over generations, not moments. But this is happening now because of us, Maya pointed out. Perhaps it was always going to happen, Thero suggested. Perhaps we were just waiting for the right catalyst. The D classroom was a large chamber normally used for tactical briefings. When Maya arrived, she found 20 Valaxians already seated, 15 females and 5 males. The males sat together at the back, looking uncomfortable. Commander Zilara introduced. Maya formally then took a seat in the front row. Maya noticed High Counselor Karina was also present, observing from the side of the room. Maya began with basic information about Earth, its geography, climate, and history. She then moved to human social structures. This was the most relevant topic for the Valaxians. Unlike your society, humans do not organize primarily by gender, Maya explained. Our social units are more commonly based on family groups, geographic regions, shared beliefs, or economics factors. A female officer raised her hand. But males and females have different physical capabilities. How do you account for this in your military? We have physical standards based on the requirements of each role, Maya explained. Some humans, regardless of gender, meet these standards, others do not. We focus on individual abilities rather than making assumptions based on categories. A male in the back raised his hand hesitantly. When Maya acknowledged him, several females turned to stare. Is it true that human males raise offspring? He asked. Both males and females raise children in human society. Maya confirmed. We believe children benefit from diverse caregivers. The questions continued for nearly 2 hours. The Valaxians were particularly interested in how humans handled conflict resolution without a clear hierarchy, and how decisions were made in human families. After the class, High Counselor Karina approached Maya. An informative session, she said, though I notice you presented human ways as if they were universal. I apologize if I gave that impression. Maya said, Earth has many cultures with different approaches, yet they all allow males significant authority. Karina observed, this seems to be a constant. Not exactly. Maya explained, human societies have varied greatly throughout history. Some were more like yours with women in control. Others had men in control. Most modern societies strive for balance, though we haven't perfectly achieved it. Karina made a thoughtful, clicking sound. So your current arrangement is relatively recent. In historical terms, yes, Maya confirmed. Major changes in gender roles have occurred within just the last few hundred years. Fascinating. Karina said, your species evolves social structures rapidly. We will continue these classes. The Council finds them valuable. Later that evening, Maya received a surprise visitor. One of the male Valaxians from her class named Rekith arrived at her quarters. He seemed agitated. "May I speak?" "With you, Translator Collins?" he asked formally. Maya invited him in. "Is something wrong, Rekith?" "The changes happening aboard this ship," he said once the door closed. "Not everyone welcomes them." Maya had suspected this. "Change is often difficult. You don't understand." Rekith's voice dropped lower. "There are those who believe these experiments dishonor our traditions, both females and males who think this way." "Are you saying there's active resistance?" Maya asked, alarmed. "I am saying you should. Be careful." Rekith replied. "Especially around Makara and her followers, they see you as the cause of unwelcome changes." After Rekith left, Maya immediately contacted Thero and Commander Zalara. They met in Zalara's private chambers to discuss the warning. Makara has always been traditional in her views, Zalara acknowledged. "But I did not think she would organize opposition." "How serious is this threat?" Maya asked. "Potentially serious." Zalara's scales darkened with concern. "Valaxians rarely challenge authority directly, but when they do, it can be violent. Should we stop the classes?" Maya suggested. "Maybe slow down the changes." "That would show weakness." Zalara clicked her mandibles in frustration. "And the High Council has mandated this experiment. Even Makara would not defy the Council, unless she believes the Council itself has been influenced improperly." Thero pointed out. "There are ancient provisions for challenging leadership that has been compromised by outside forces." Maya felt a chill. She could claim humans are those outside forces. "Precisely." Zalara stood and paced the room. "We must proceed carefully, but we cannot retreat." The next day, Maya was scheduled to give another class, this time focusing on human family structures. As she walked toward the classroom, she noticed increased security in the corridors. Zalara had clearly taken the threat seriously. The class began normally. Maya explained the concept of human marriages, voluntary partnerships that could be formed and dissolved. She described various family arrangements, including single parents, extended families, and chosen families. Halfway through the session, the door opened. Makara entered with 3 other female officers. They took positions at the back of the room, watching intently. Maya continued her lecture, trying to ignore their intimidating presence. When the time came for questions, Makara immediately spoke. "You present these human arrangements as successful," she said. "Yet humans fight, constantly have numerous social problems, and have nearly destroyed their planet several times. Perhaps your approach is not as effective as you claim." The room went silent. The challenge was clear. "Human society is imperfect," Maya acknowledged. "We've made many mistakes throughout our history, but we've also shown remarkable ability to recognize our errors and change course." "Change is not always improvement," Makara countered. "Sometimes it is merely destruction of what works. Sometimes what works for some does not work for all," Maya replied. She noticed several males nodding slightly. Makara's scales flushed with color. "You speak of things you do not understand, human. Our ways have preserved our species for thousands of years." "Commander," Zalara intervened. "This is a class about human culture, Officer Makara. Your concerns about implementation are noted but should be addressed in the proper forum." Makara made a gesture of formal acknowledgement, but her posture remained hostile. After class, Thero found Maya in her quarters. "Makara has filed a formal objection with the ship's command structure," he informed her. "She is requesting your removal as cultural liaison." "On what grounds?" "Cultural interference." Thero said. "She claims you are deliberately undermining Valaxian traditions." "That's not true," Maya protested. "I've only shared information when asked." "I know," Thero assured her. "But this is becoming political. There are factions forming, those who support exploration of new ideas and those who fear change." The situation deteriorated over the following days. Maya's classes continued, but the atmosphere aboard the ship grew tense. Security officers escorted her everywhere. She noticed Thero and the other males involved in the experiment also had protection. High Counselor Karena called a formal hearing to address Makara's complaints. The ship's main assembly hall was filled with officers and diplomats from both species. Maya sat beside Commander Zalara, while Makara and her supporters sat opposite. This hearing will determine if inappropriate cultural interference has occurred, Karena announced. Officer Makara, present your evidence. Makara stood proud and tall. Since the human translator arrived, our traditions have been questioned, our hierarchy disrupted, and our males encouraged to abandon their proper roles. This cannot be coincidence. These changes were authorized by the High Council, Zalara pointed out. After extensive contact with humans, Makara countered, I submit that the council itself may have been influenced improperly. A murmur ran through the assembly. This was a serious accusation. Karena's 4 eyes narrowed. You invoke the challenge of outside influence. This has not been done in 7 generations because it has not been necessary until now. Makara replied. Maya leaned toward Zalara. What does this mean? She whispered. It means Makara has formally accused the council of being compromised by human influence, Zalara explained. Quietly. By our ancient laws, this requires response. Karena stood to her full impressive height. I accept the challenge. Translator Collins will defend human intentions. Officer Makara will present the case for interference. The ship's crew will witness and judge. Maya felt panic rising. She was being asked to defend not just herself but all of humanity in some kind of Valaxian legal proceeding. She didn't fully understand. Do not worry, Zalara told her. Simply speak truth as you know it. Thero appeared at Maya's side. I will assist in your preparation, he said. I know our laws and how they can be navigated. The challenge of outside influence was scheduled for 3 days later. Maya spent every waking hour preparing with Thero and Commander Zalara. The process was unlike any legal proceeding on Earth. It combined elements of debate, ritual combat, and public spectacle. The challenge takes place in 3 phases, Thero explained as they reviewed ancient texts. First words, then symbols, then actions. What does that mean exactly? Maya asked. In the first phase, you and Makara will present verbal arguments. In the second, you will interpret traditional symbols to support your position. In the third, you must demonstrate your principles through action. Maya frowned. The second and third parts sound vague and subjective. They are intentionally so, Zalara said. The challenge tests not just logic but understanding of our deeper cultural values. As the day approached, Maya received an unexpected visitor. Samantha Ford, the lead human diplomat, arrived at her quarters. The United Earth government is concerned about your situation, Samantha said after they exchanged greetings. This challenge could affect relations between our species. I'm doing my best to prepare, Maya assured her. That's not why I'm here. Samantha looked troubled. I've been instructed to offer you extraction if you feel your safety is at risk. Maya was surprised. You mean leave? Now? We have a shuttle standing by. We can have you off this ship in 2 hours. Maya thought about it. The situation was becoming dangerous, but leaving would confirm everything Makara had claimed about human interference. I need to stay, Maya said finally. Running away would only make things worse. Samantha nodded. That's what I told them you'd say. But I had to offer. She handed Maya a small device. Keep this with you, emergency communicator just in case. The day of the challenge arrived. The ship's main assembly hall had been transformed. A large circular platform stood in the center, surrounded by tiered seating. Nearly every crew member was present. Maya saw humans from the diplomatic team sitting together looking concerned. Maya wore formal Valaxian colors but in human style. Thero stood beside her without a collar, his scales gleaming. Across the chamber, Makara and her supporters waited. High Counselor Karena entered last. She wore ceremonial armor that enhanced her already imposing presence. The room fell silent as she took her position above the platform. The challenge of outside influence has been invoked. Karina announced. This ancient rite allows our people to guard against corruption of our ways. She turned to Makara. You claim the human Maya Collins has improperly influenced our society. I do. Makara stepped onto the platform. I claim she has deliberately undermined our traditions by encouraging males to abandon their proper roles and questioning our social hierarchy. And you, Maya Collins? Karina continued. How do you answer? Maya took her place opposite Makara. I have shared information about human ways when asked. I have respected Valaxian traditions while here. Any changes have come from within your own society, not from my interference. Karina made a formal gesture. The first phase begins. Words must be spoken and heard. What followed was an intense debate. Makara spoke passionately about Valaxian traditions. She described their society's stability and strength. She pointed to human history with its wars and conflicts as evidence of the failure of human approaches. When Maya's turn came, she acknowledged human flaws but emphasized growth and adaptation. Humans have made terrible mistakes, she admitted. But our willingness to question traditions and change our ways has allowed us to learn from those mistakes. We don't claim perfection. We claim only the courage to evolve. The debate continued for hours. Maya noticed that while Makara spoke primarily to the female officers, Maya found herself addressing both males and females equally. This itself demonstrated the difference in their approaches. Finally, Karina raised her hand, ending the first phase. Words have been spoken and heard. Now we move to the second phase. Symbols must be recognized and interpreted. Assistants brought forth an ancient chest from it. Karina removed several objects, placing them on a table between Maya and Makara. These symbols from our past hold meaning, Karina explained. Each challenger will select one and interpret its significance to our present situation. Makara chose first, selecting a metal scepter with intricate designs. This is the rod of command, she announced. It represents the unbroken line of female authority that has guided our people to greatness. Its strength comes from its unchanging nature. Maya studied. The remaining objects carefully. Tharo had prepared her for this, but she still felt uncertain. Finally, she selected a spherical device with movable parts. She recognized it from her studies. This is the Celestial Mapper, she said. Valaxian explorers used it to navigate unknown regions of space. She rotated sections of the sphere, demonstrating how it worked. It was designed to adapt to new star patterns and unusual phenomena. Its strength comes from its flexibility and openness to new information. Murmurs ran through the assembly. Maya's choice and interpretation had clearly resonated with many present. Even Karina seemed thoughtful. Symbols have been recognized and interpreted. Karina declared, now we move to the final phase. Actions must demonstrate principles. This was the part Maya understood least. Karina explained the rules. Each challenger must demonstrate through action the principle they defend. Makara will show the value of traditional hierarchy. Maya Collins will show the value of cultural exchange. How exactly do we do that? Maya whispered to Tharo. You must create a scenario that proves your point, he replied. Something that shows everyone the benefit of your approach. Makara went first. She called forward a group of 10 Valaxians, 5 female officers and 5 males. She arranged them in traditional formation with females commanding and males executing orders. She then presented them with a complex tactical problem. The group solved it efficiently, using the established chain of command. This is our way, Makara concluded. Clear authority, clear roles, maximum efficiency. Now it was Maya's turn. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. I would like to create a mixed group as well, she announced, but I request volunteers who wish to participate rather than assignments. This was unusual, but Karina allowed it. Maya was surprised when both females and males stepped forward, including several who had been in her classes. I will present a different kind of challenge, Maya explained. One that requires creative thinking, not just execution of orders. She described a scenario involving first contact with an unknown species with unusual biology and no clear social hierarchy. How would you establish communication and build trust? She asked. The group, instead of organizing them by gender, Maya asked each volunteer to suggest approaches based on their knowledge and skills. A female tactical officer proposed security protocols. A male cultural aide suggested symbolic exchanges. They built on each other's ideas regardless of gender or rank. The result was a rich, multifaceted approach that addressed aspects of the problem Makara's group had not considered. This is not about replacing hierarchy with chaos, Maya explained to the assembly. It's about recognizing that different challenges require different approaches. Sometimes traditional structure works best. Other times, exploration of new ideas is needed. As she spoke, Maya noticed something remarkable happening. Members of the assembly were talking to each other across traditional boundaries. Females were consulting with males. Junior officers were offering suggestions to seniors who listened with interest. Karina observed this too. Her 4 eyes, blinked in the pattern Maya had learned, indicated deep thought. Actions have demonstrated principles. Karina announced finally, the challenge is complete. The assembly fell silent, waiting for the judgment. Maya stood tall, though her heart was racing. The challenge of outside influence judgment comes not from authority alone, but from the witnessed truth. Karina said, "What has been demonstrated here?" Makara stepped forward. "I have shown the efficiency of our traditional ways." "You have." Karina. "Agreed. And Maya Collins, what have you shown?" "That different approaches can complement each other." Maya replied, "That both tradition and innovation have value." Karina surveyed the assembly. "I ask all present, has harmful interference occurred? Or has beneficial exchange taken place?" The response began slowly but grew. All around the chamber, Valaxians made a gesture Maya recognized as indicating acceptance. Even some of Makara's supporters joined. The gesture spread until most of the assembly was participating. "The assembly has judged," Karina declared. "The challenge is resolved. No harmful interference has occurred. The exchange between our peoples may continue." Maya felt overwhelming relief. Beside her, Thero's scales rippled with colors. Of joy, Makara stood rigid for a moment, then formally acknowledged the decision. "The judgment is accepted," she said. Though her posture remained proud, Maya thought she detected uncertainty in Makara's eyes. After the ceremony, Commander Zalara approached. "Maya, you have survived your first Valaxian challenge," she said. "Few outsiders can claim this honor." "I had help." Maya glanced at Thero. "I couldn't have done it without guidance." "That is precisely the point," Zalara replied. "Alone, neither of our approaches is complete. Together we find new strengths." The humans from the diplomatic team came forward to congratulate Maya. Samantha Ford looked both relieved and impressed. "When they said you were going to trial by combat, I was ready to call." "In the fleet," she joked. 6 months had passed since the challenge. Maya stood at the viewport of the Valaxian ship, watching Earth grow larger as they approached. After nearly a year in space, she was finally going home, at least for a visit. So much had changed in that time. The experimental program allowing males more participation had expanded throughout the ship. New classes exploring both human and Valaxian culture were offered regularly. Even Makara had begun to participate, though she remained cautious about changes, excited. "To return home?" Thero asked, joining Maya at the viewport. He no longer wore a collar. Instead, he had a small insignia marking his position as cultural liaison assistant. Several other males now held similar roles. "Very excited," Maya admitted. "I miss Earth, but I'll miss this ship too. You'll return." Thero assured her. "The High Council has officially requested your continued service." That had been unexpected. 3 weeks ago, High Counselor Karina had summoned Maya to inform her that the cultural exchange program would be expanded. More humans would be invited aboard Valaxian ships. More Valaxians would visit Earth. Maya would coordinate the program. "The Council believes you understand both perspectives." Karina had told her. You see with double vision. This is rare and valuable. Now as Earth filled the viewport, Maya reflected on her journey. When she had first arrived, she had seen Valaxian society as simply oppressive. She had judged their treatment of males by human standards, without understanding their history or context. Over time, she had learned their ways had evolved for reasons. Not all those reasons remained valid, but she understood them better now. And the Valaxians, too, were beginning to question traditions that no longer served their current reality. Commander Zalara wishes to see you before the landing party departs. Thero reminded her. Maya found Zalara in her quarters. The commander was studying reports on a large display screen. She dismissed it when Maya entered. Translator Collins. Your final reports have been received by the High Council. I hope they're satisfactory, Commander. Maya replied. More than satisfactory. Zalara's scales shifted, showing pleasure. The Council believes this exchange has been among the most significant in recent Valaxian history. Maya was surprised by such high praise. I only did my job. You did more. Zalara moved to a cabinet and removed a small box. The Council has authorized me to present you with this inside. The box was a Valaxian communication device unlike any Maya had seen. It was elegant with flowing lines that seemed to match Valaxian anatomy. This is a direct link to the High Council, Zalara explained. Few non-Valaxians have ever been granted such access. Maya carefully lifted the device. I'm honored. There is something else. Zalara seemed uncharacteristically hesitant. A personal request. Of course, Commander. When you speak to your government, when you explain what you have witnessed, here, tell them that we are trying. Tell them that change comes differently to us, but it does come. Maya understood the significance of this request. Zalara was asking her to advocate for patience from humans, to help them understand that Valaxian society was evolving at its own pace. I will make sure they understand. Maya promised. The journey to Earth's surface took place in a small Valaxian shuttle. Maya was accompanied by Thero and 2 female Valaxian officers. This would be the first time any males of their species had officially visited Earth. A small but significant step. They were greeted at the landing facility by a delegation of Earth officials. Maya recognized Samantha Ford among them. Camera drones hovered, capturing the historic moment. Welcome to Earth. Samantha greeted them formally. We are honored by your visit. The Valaxians responded with their own formal greetings. Maya translated, though less was needed now. Many Earth officials had been studying the Valaxian languages. They moved toward the waiting vehicles. Maya found herself walking beside Samantha. You've become quite the diplomat. Samantha commented. The UEG is impressed with what you've accomplished. I had good teachers, Maya replied, thinking of both Zalara and Thero. They want to debrief you tomorrow at headquarters. Full assessment of Valaxian society and recommendations for ongoing relations. Maya nodded. She had expected this. I have a lot to share. The debriefing took place in a secure conference room at United Earth Government headquarters. Maya faced a panel of officials from various departments. Some she recognized, others were new to her. Ms. Collins, began the chairperson, a stern woman named Catherine Boyd. Your reports have been enlightening, but we need your personal assessment. Is Valaxian society evolving in a direction compatible with human values? Maya considered her response carefully. Valaxian society is evolving, but not necessarily to become like ours. They are finding their own path forward, one that honors their history while adapting to new realities. The treatment of males in their society remains troubling, noted another official. Can we form lasting alliances with a species that practices such inequality? I once thought as you do, Maya replied, but I've learned that judging another culture by our standards alone is short-sighted. The Valaxians are questioning their traditions. Change is happening, but it must come from within, not imposed from outside. And what of their military capabilities? Asked a defense official. Their ships are powerful. Their technology in some areas exceeds ours. The Valaxians value strength, Maya acknowledged, but they also value stability and order. They see alliance with Earth as beneficial to both our peoples. The questions continued for hours. Maya described the challenge of outside influence, the experimental programs, the classes she had taught. She explained how Valaxian society was structured and how it was beginning to evolve. Finally, Catherine Boyd asked the most important question: "What do you recommend as our policy moving forward?" Maya took a deep breath. "I recommend continued engagement, increased cultural exchange, and patience. The Valaxians are not humans, they never will be, but they can be valuable allies if we respect their differences while encouraging positive change." 2 days later, Maya met with Tharo and the Valaxian delegation at a human restaurant. The Valaxians were experiencing Earth culture firsthand. They had visited museums, government buildings, parks, and universities. "Your world is chaotic," observed one of the female officers, "but vibrant." "How are you finding Earth, Tharo?" Maya asked. "Fascinating," he replied, "especially your educational institutions. The concept of open debate between students and teachers is unknown among Valaxians. Will you take these ideas back to your ship?" "Some, yes." Tharo's scales rippled thoughtfully. "Others would not translate well to our culture, but the principle of open questioning that we will certainly adopt." After dinner, they walked through a city park. The Valaxians attracted attention from humans, but most kept a respectful distance. Official announcements had prepared the public for their visit. "Commander Zalara asked me to observe human family units," Tharo mentioned as they passed a playground where children played. "She is particularly interested in how males participate in childcare." "And what have you observed?" Maya asked. "Great variation." Tharo replied. "Some males are very involved, others less so, but the choice seems to belong to the family, not to society's rules." "Choice is important to humans," Maya explained. "We believe individuals should determine their own paths when possible." An interesting concept. Tharo watched as a father pushed his daughter on a swing, not without merit. That night in her apartment, Maya received a call from Samantha Ford. "Good news," Samantha announced. "The Council has approved your recommendations. The cultural exchange program will be expanded. 10 more linguistic specialists will be trained for deployment to Valaxian ships." "That's wonderful." Maya was genuinely pleased. "They want you to head the program," Samantha continued. "You'll split your time between Earth and Valaxian ships, training the new team and continuing your work with the High Council." It was everything Maya could have hoped for. A chance to continue building bridges between their species. "There's something else," Samantha added. "A personal message from High Counselor Karina. She says, 'The path is opening, walk it with wisdom.'" The next morning, Maya met with the Valaxian delegation at their shuttle. They were returning to their ship, but would be back soon. Earth and Valaxian representatives had agreed to regular exchanges. "Will you be joining us on the return journey?" Tharo asked. "Not this time," Maya replied. "I have work to do here preparing the new team, but I'll join you on the next rotation." Tharo made the Valaxian gesture of acknowledgement. "Until then." But he added something new, a human handshake. The gesture was somewhat awkward with his different anatomy, but the meaning was clear. As the shuttle lifted off, Maya thought about how far they had come. When she had first met Tharo, he had been property, unable to speak freely. Now he was a cultural liaison representing his people. Later that week, Maya began training the new team of linguistic specialists. They were eager, but nervous about living among the Valaxians. "Will we be safe there?" asked one young woman named Kate, who had been assigned to the same ship where Maya had served. "You'll be safe," Maya assured her. "But you'll also be challenged. Your ideas about society and culture will be questioned. That's part of the experience." "How do we avoid offending them?" asked another trainee. "Be respectful, but honest," Maya advised. "The Valaxians value truth, even uncomfortable truth. Don't judge their ways by human standards, but don't pretend to agree with everything either. Did you change them? Kate asked. The reports say males are being treated differently now because of your influence.